Shalom, the wilderness, a place prepared by Yahuah. Um, I'm gonna just jump right into this. I got a lot of scriptures to go over. And the first scripture I'm gonna give is one that I I proclaim, I say a lot on this channel, and that is 2 Baruch 29:2. If you don't know this scripture, you really need to get this spirit down into you. And it reads, "For at that time I shall only protect those found in this land at that time." So this is a promise that, he's only going to protect those that's found in this land. In this picture you're looking at here, this is within his borders. This is his land that it's talking about. Okay, the next scripture, Revelations 12, verse 6 and 14. And it says, "And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she have a place prepared of Elohim, that they should feed her there 1,260 days." That's 1,260 days, 3.5 years. Okay, verse 14. "And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, and to her place where she is nourished for a time, times half a times from the face of the serpent." So here we're seeing this woman going into the wilderness where there's a place prepared for her. She's going there for nourishment. And now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to be going back and forth from 2 Baruch 29 and 4 through 8, and I'm going to go back and forth to show the parallels between 2 Baruch and what's in the Bible. And the first scripture I'm going to give is out of 2 Baruch 4, 2 Baruch 29:4, I'm sorry. "And Behemoth will reveal itself from its place, and Leviathan will come from the sea, the 2 great monsters which I created on the 5th day of creation." So here we're seeing the 2 great monsters that was created on the 5th day of creation, which I shall have kept until that time. They will be nourishment for all who are left. So these 2 creatures here, we're seeing that they will be nourishment for all who will be left. And now I'm going to read Psalm 74 and 14. I have a lot of scriptures I'm going through here. Okay, it says, "And you break the heads of Leviathan in pieces, and gave him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness." So we see here from Psalm 74 and 14, he took the heads of Leviathan, broke it in pieces, and gave it to the inhabitants that would be in the wilderness. Also, Job 40 and 15. "Behold now, Behemoth, which I made with thee, he eats the grass as an ox." So this is Behemoth here, and there are more scriptures, and for the sake of time I'm not going to go through all of them dealing with those 2. Now I'm going to touch on here's another scripture. This is from Enoch 60, and I'm going to start the 7th verse. It says, "On that day were 2 monsters parted, a female monster named Leviathan, to dwell in the abyss of the ocean over the fountains of the water, and the male is named Behemoth, who occupied with the breast a waste wilderness named Dudan, on the east of the garden where the elect and righteous dwell." So we see here this giving us a indication where the elect and righteous will be dwelling. He says also, "Where my grandfather was taken up, the 7th from Adam." Okay, so we're getting an inkling here of what these 2 monsters was created for, and they are created for a specific time, and it's for the nourishment for the elect and righteous. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to Second Baruch 29:5. I told you I'm jumping around a lot here. And it says, the earth will also yield fruits 10,000 fold. Listen at this. The earth will yield fruits 10,000 fold. Of course, this is unheard of. No one ever seen anything like this in our time. And on one vine will be 1,000 branches, and one branch will produce 1,000 clusters, and one cluster will produce 1,000 grapes. One grape will produce a quart of wine. Now, according to Oxford, they say a quart of wine is 230 liters. So we're talking 230 liters from just one grape. And again, this is mighty. This is miracle right here. This is a miracle right here. Okay, Ezekiel 34 and verse 27. And this is what Second Baruch is talking about. And the tree of the field shall yield her fruit, and the earth shall yield her increase, and they shall be safe in their land, and shall know that I am Yahuah, when I have broken the band of their yoke, and delivered them out of the hands of those who serve themselves of them. So we see here, this is the Father's doing, and we're going to see him at work. We're going to be able to see his miraculous power, and it's going to be something we've never seen before. It will be mind-boggling. This is Isaiah 32. I'm going to read 15 and 16. Until Ruach HaKodesh be poured upon us from on high, and the wilderness be a fruitful field. So this wilderness, again, over and over, this wilderness, he's going to make it a fruitful field. And a fruitful field will be counted for a forest. Then verse 16, then judgment shall dwell in the wilderness. 2/3 will be cut off in the wilderness, and this the judgment is talking about. And the righteous remain in the fruitful field. So the righteous will remain in the fruitful field. Isaiah 41 and 19 and 20. I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the shittah tree, and the myrtle, the oil tree, and I will set in the desert the fir tree and the pine and the box tree together. These are trees that's needed, that man needs, and these trees, they don't normally. This is something that he have to do. This is not where these trees should be growing. They that may see and know, no, excuse me, that they may see and know and consider and understand together that the hand of Yahuah have done this, and the Kadash one of Yasharah have created it. So again, this is what I'm saying. When we see this, only one person can do this, and we will know only the hand of Yahuah have done this. Okay, back to Second Baruch 29 and 6. And those who are hungry will enjoy themselves, and they will moreover see marvels every day. So once again, this is saying there will be miracles in the wilderness every day. There will not be a day that go by and no miracle happen in the wilderness. And it also mentions they that are hungry, just like the woman went into the wilderness to be fed. I mean, this woman gonna be hungry when she get there, and that's another message. But I'm just dealing with some of the things that's gonna be going on. Okay, Isaiah 51 and 3. For Yahuah shall comfort Zion, he will comfort all her waste places, and he will make her wilderness like Eden. So this is what it's saying right here. In her desert, like the garden of Yahuah, joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and a voice of melody. So this wilderness will become like a garden of Eden, just like what it says. Okay, back to Second Baruch 29 and 7. For wind shall go out in front of me every morning to bring fragrance of aromatic fruits and clouds in the end of the day to distill the dew of health. So there will be a fragrance, a strong aroma, a strong fragrance of fruits in the morning, and the clouds at the end of the day distill the dew of health. So there's going to be health being restored in the wilderness. Now, this is some of the things that you need to understand what's going to be happening. People are going to be getting healed in the wilderness. Now, let's see that in the Bible. Isaiah 35, verse 1, and I'm going to read 5 and 6. The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as a rose. Okay, verse 5 and 6. And the eyes of the blind shall be opened. Here we go. And the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Then shall the lame man leap as in heart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. So again, we have here people being healed. We have the lame man leaping. We have the tongue, the deaf of the tongue singing. And they're going to be, again, this is going to be something, it's going to be mind-boggling. This is part of what we just read, miracles every day. Back to 2 Baruch 29 and verse 8. And it will happen at that time that the treasury of manna will come down again from on high. So here it is, like before, as in time past, he fed them manna. For the whole time they was in the wilderness, he fed them manna. And here it is, we're promised that manna will come down in the wilderness once again. And they will eat of it in those years. What years? 3.5 years. Because they are they who have arrived at the consummation of time. So this will be the group of people, the elect, the 144,000 plus the Gentiles, whoever joined to the elect, and these are they that will arrive at the consummation of time. And I got a couple more scriptures. This is Jeremiah 31 and 2. And see, this is the question. The question is, all this going on in the wilderness, you have to wonder, what's the rest of the world going to be like? And the rest of the world will be opposite. It will be all those other things I've been bringing out in videos. It's going to be famine. It's going to be sword. It's going to be death, destruction, Jacob's trouble. This is what's before us. You're going to take part of one or the other. Okay, Jeremiah 31 and 2. Thus says Yahuah, the people which are left of the sword found favor in the wilderness, even Yasharah, when I went to cause him to rest. So right here we are seeing the people that's left they left from the sword, meaning the sword didn't get them. And the only place they found this favor is in the wilderness. And so there will be many that will take no part of this favor that's going to be in the wilderness. They take no part in all these miracles that I'm showing you here, scripture after scripture. And I'm going over them pretty fast. I wanted to just do one video on this, and I didn't want to break it all up. There's many more scriptures. What I may do later on is go into scriptures that I didn't hit. And the last scripture here is Psalm 72 in verse 9. And it reads, they that dwell in the wilderness shall bow before him, and his enemies shall lick the dust. So right there, we see that the elect and the ones that's gathered with the elect, they shall dwell in the wilderness. They shall bow before him. They're going to be worshiping. This is what they're going to be doing in the wilderness. And the enemies, while that's going on, the enemies shall lick the dust. So, again, these scriptures, it says what it says, and he means what he means. And, Baruch those that make it into the wilderness. Shalom.